This film is a sequel to the world of Knives Out, from which the first part was released in one of the most beautiful cinematic years of 2019. In 2019, this movie was a very nice surprise. This movie faces hard challenges. Firstly, because it is a revamp of the film category of The Killer. Secondly, the film presented a group of well-known stars in a different form from the roles they always take, as the second part now has many challenges. At first, of course, it must be at the level of the first part or better. Secondly, they also present us with a group of stars with beautiful charisma on the screen. Thirdly, the film this time is not in the cinema. The film this time, and from the beginning on Netflix, will it achieve the same popularity for the first part or not?
She killed Duke and she tore our room apart. I saw her!
She'll do this for me one last time, okay?
Not today.
Ransack her fast and thorough.
And watch this movie, the second movie without the need to watch the first movie, because each movie presents a separate story with one common name, which is actor Daniel Craig, who takes on the role of detective Benoit Blanc. Now we're going to start with the story of the movie. This time the film takes place during the pandemic. This time, the main detective and protagonist of the story goes through fatal boredom because he is locked up in this home lockdown, which makes him agree without hesitation to participate in one of the games organized by a rich man. And this game is to solve a hypothetical crime that did not happen in reality. And this invitation reaches the investigator and some close friends of this rich personality. But as they arrive at the place of the case, we begin to discover many mysterious things. First, the relationship of friends with each other. How do you fundamentally know some of each character that is very different from the others? A rich person, a fashion model, a YouTuber, a scientist, plus a political figure and a detective. We start to see from the conversation and from the beginning that there is a suspicious or somewhat unhealthy past for each character. But the most important thing, away from the game and the virtual investigation, begins to become real crimes in the place of the case, and now everyone is a suspect. Through the events of the story, we will learn who the culprit is. With the aspects of power, don't forget to subscribe and like to receive everything new. And tell us in the comments how much do you rate this movie from 10.
My beautiful disruptors.
We could all use a moment of normalcy, and so you are cordially invited
For a long weekend on my private island!
If we start from the strengths, this part is like the first part, continuing on the same path. Multiple characters acting interesting actors in this movie. We have one of the most important actors for me who was somewhat absent from the screen for a long time and started to return from time to time in some movies, and he is the actor Edward Norton. Your charisma is still there, my brother. Every time I see it on the screen, I discover how much I miss his presence on the scene. And the role is very suitable for him. It reminds me somewhat of a role in the movie, Italian Job, with us as well as actress Kate Hudson. This proverb at the end of the 90s at the beginning of the millennium was an icon in comedy and romantic films, and with this film she offers a role very similar to her. Kind of it represents real life in some aspects. The second strength for me in the film is everything related to production design, the design of spaces, decor, and the atmosphere as a whole. We live the story inside an island owned by the richest people in the world, and even the house inside this island is designed in an exceptional way. Everything in this place on the island from the moment we arrive to enter this house suggests the extension of the obscene wealth of this character. Indeed, the design of the place, the decorations, the fine details, and the atmosphere are an ability that connects me to this connection with the personality and how rich it is. And this aspect is important in order to know to what degree. This character has power derived from extreme wealth. A third aspect of strength relative and also continuous with us from the first part is the method of narrating events, which depends on narrating events through several timelines. And from the perspective of several personalities, there is no talk on this point, but it is not worth watching. The first movie was fun. I would advise all the people who didn't watch it. They see the first film as a light and fun investigation film that is simple in idea and strong and excellent in execution. It is estimated that it gave me several surprises during the entire period of the screening, which gave the second scenes of the film a higher value, while the situation is different here in Glass Onion. For a moment, I felt that the story was far from the essence of Knives Out, far from the essence of the first film, the first hour of Knives Out mystery. The second film passed slowly, but events accelerated madly at 2 o'clock or in the second half of the film. And here lies the main problem if you compare between the first film and the second film at the first hour. It is a space for the writer, a space for the director to present the characters of this work, makes us see each character and the special thing in it, and provides us with the motives of these characters. And yes, I understand very well that this is a crime movie. If I knew the motives of the characters, I would burn myself the pleasure of the work as a whole. However, I didn't feel any interest in the characters during the first hour. Yes, there was an attempt to introduce some characters. For example, David Bautista is a streamer on Twitch who aspires to become famous and a big name for a brilliant person. Catherine Hahn, for example, is a politician and a woman working in the political field, and other personalities have other qualities. Perhaps the common denominator between all the other qualities possessed by these characters is that they are Sata. But I return to the main point that the characters were presented in the form of the adjective Sakiya, and this is what served the complexity of the story, which served that it builds me complex characters with complex relationships. The qualities of his masters are multiple, but they bear the same character, no values, no principles. Among the characters that attracted me is the character of Edward Norton.
No! It's just dumb! Enough.
But the important thing is that the movie is entertaining the events, and the atmosphere was really fun. Personally, I prefer the first part, especially since in the first part things were more serious. Even the actions of our detective were more serious. It is true that he had some comical and strange moments in the first part, but most of them were serious. In the second part, we leaned more on the flat side, but the comedic side of the character is not necessarily considered a bad thing. But I feel that they lost the balance between seriousness and comedy. But the events remain fun, and the most important thing is that the second watch will be more beautiful. The second part of Knives Out, Glass Onion, the rate is 7 out of 10.
Benoit Blanc, the detective?
Thanks for following. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Now Everything New.